Good morning, boys and girls. It's Sunday night. But you will be seeing this on Monday morning. So, good morning. Today is the 30th of March, and I haven't seen you guys since Friday, March 13th. So that's like 42 days or something like that. That my wife is doing the camera, and she's looking like it's not 42 days, but she doesn't know that I goof around with you guys, that I don't know how to do any math at all. But anyway, it's been like 42 days, so I figured I'd take a video so you guys could see my face, because I know that you guys miss me. Anyway, so for 8.1, we're starting chapter 8 today, and for 8.1, we're going to be talking about solids. So today is just about getting some vocabulary down pat here. So if you look here, what I have right here in front of me, this little thing right here, this is what's called a net. And a net is, I have a net in block 4, which probably think like, oh my God, he just mentioned my name. But it's not a net like the person. It's, my wife just dropped something. It's completely ruined the video. But anyway, it's not a net like a person, a net. It's like a net, like a fishing net, like an NET. Anyway, so this is a net. And so a net is basically, if we take a solid, like a prism or a pyramid or a cylinder or something like that, and we kind of flatten it out, this is what it would look like. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to be able to take, look at a net and then decide what solid figure it's going to become. Or we have to look at a solid figure and say, hey, what would the net look like? That's part of what we're doing. So the other part is I just want to make sure that you guys are familiar with certain vocabulary and certain terms. Anyway, so this is a net. So if I just kind of fold this stuff up like this, I'm using my kids' magnet tiles, I now have a pyramid. Now, if I want to be more specific, it's a triangular pyramid, and I know it's a triangular pyramid because I just look at its base. And its base is a triangle, so when we name a pyramid, we name it for its base. So this is a triangular pyramid. Now this right here is another net, and it's a net. Well, let's kind of fold it all up here, and this is going to become another pyramid, but this is going to be a square pyramid because, again, the base of it is a square. So that's a square pyramid. Now, over here, I don't have a pyramid, I have a prism. This is a triangular prism. Now, the difference between a pyramid and a prism, if we go back to this pyramid here, this is its base. It doesn't have another base that is exactly like it and parallel to it. So it's just, huh? What were you trying to tell me?
Show the base.
Oh, so this is the base. So it doesn't, so there's no base that's parallel to it. There's no other side that's parallel and congruent to it. However, this right here, this triangular prism, it does. It is a prism because if we call this its base, right, it has another base that is exactly like it and parallel to it. So this is a triangular prism. All right. This over here is a rectangular prism. Because again, whatever I call the base, there's always, let's I call this the base, there is a side that is congruent and parallel to it up here. If this is the base, there is a side that's congruent and parallel to it down there. All right? So that's the difference between a prism and a pyramid. Now, so a couple other things that we have to talk about. This right here is a can of soup. If you're hungry, say yes to yes soup. This is chicken noodle. Chicken noodle, yes soup. Anyway, this is a cylinder. Now, a cylinder has two bases. So there's somebody's up. There's a circular base here, and obviously it's this is another base. There's another circle up there too. And on a cylinder, so these are the circular bases. This right here, we just call it the curved surface. This side part. If I wanted to drink this can of soup, if I held it like that, I'm holding the curved surface. All right. the next thing I want to talk about is I didn't have a pyramid. Nope. I didn't have a cone. Thank you for telling me what it is. I didn't have a cone hanging around my house. If I did have a cone like this, I would have eaten it already. So this is a cone, and a cone has obviously one circular base right here, and this surface right here, you can call it the curved surface as well, but a lot of times we refer to it as the lateral surface. All right. Now, I'm going to get more into. Hang on a second. I'm going to get more into the specifics on a cone when we get into like 8.3 or 8.4. But the cone has two heights, sort of. It's got this, the height from right in the center to straight down, but it's also got something called a slant height. And that's the height from, if you go from this vertex up here, all the way, carry it down the lateral surface, all the way to one of the edges of the circular base. That's called the slant height. Now the slant height is going to be bigger than the actual height, because the actual height goes absolutely straight down, whereas the curve, the slant height goes slanted. So imagine if you're just kind of measuring it. So it's not going in a direct route. It's going kind of slanted down. Anyway, we're going to talk more about that when we get into cones. The last thing I want to talk to you about is can I have a butter knife? Should have prepped this. Thank you. Is something called cross section. So a cross section is, so if I asked you if I cut this Play-Doh, if I cut it horizontally, that's going from left to right. If I cut it horizontally, what shape would the cross section be? So I'm just going to go ahead and take this knife here, and I'm going to cut it horizontally. I know. This will be considered the cross section. And the cross section in this case is a circle. All right, so if I cut it horizontally, it's going to give me a circle. Now if I put it back here and kind of roll it up a little bit, that's not going to work. It's embarrassing. So I wish we can go to a commercial right now. Wish we can go to a commercial or something. All right, so listen. This is sort of back to normal. All right, so now here's our cylinder. Now let's say I cut it vertically. That's going up and down. So if I cut it vertically, let's figure out let's see what shape the cross section is going to be. You guys should be thinking about it right now too. The cross section here is a rectangle. All right. So it's, my wife's looking like, no, it's not, but it really is. It's again, this is Play-Doh, and anyway. So those are the things that we really need to know about. Being able to identify a pyramid, a prism, a cylinder, a cone, and then kind of knowing about the height, the slant height. But we're going to talk more about that during 8.3 when we get into that. But so for what we have to do today is just answer some questions about, and I'm going to Google Classroom it to you guys, just answer some questions about all the stuff that we talked about here. So my wife's giving me this as the show is coming to an end. So anyway, boys and girls, I hope everyone's doing well. Email me if you have any questions, and we'll talk soon. Bye.